Good afternoon. This is John Mahany with Managing Safety for the Florida Aviation Network, reporting this afternoon from Long Beach, California. And my guest today is Paul New, who is the owner of Tennessee Aircraft Services in Jackson, Tennessee. And Paul's 2 time zones ahead of me on Central Time, and I'm on Pacific Time. So Paul began working on airplanes as a child, helping his dad with their latest hobby, restoration project. He soloed on his 16th birthday, completed his private pilot when he was 17, multi-engine the same year, and later the instrument rating. He then went to completed the Avionics curriculum at Southern Illinois University, earning his degree in applied science. Paul holds an FAA airframe power plant certificate with FAA inspector authorization. He was a designated airworthiness representative for a few years as well. And then in '07, he was selected as the FAA's National Aviation Maintenance Technician of the Year. He was an original account holder for Savvy Aviation Maintenance and still manages a number of clients. He serves as a technical rep and instructor for the Cessna Pilots Association and is a nationally known maintenance expert specializing in structural repair. He's factory trained on the Columbia, Cessna 300, 350, 400, and G1000 systems, and serves as a ground instructor for Cessna's Advanced Aircraft Club, as well as the Cirrus Pilot Proficiency Program. Very accomplished. Welcome, Paul, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to be here, John. Thank you.
So anyway, it's interesting, the last part of your intro, because I'm actually currently working on a Cirrus checkhouse. If I have a question, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, ask anything. I am a pilot. I'm a mechanic that flies. I'm not a pilot that mechanics. So keep your questions, on the airplane technical side if you can.
So we're going to talk to Paul this afternoon a little bit about the General Aviation Awards program, which Paul is part of. And I was actually a recipient of it, 15 years ago. But anyway, so Paul, tell me just a little bit about the GAA Awards and just a little bit about that. So your experience there.
Okay, well, I was introduced to the General Aviation Awards program back in 2006, where my local FSDO nominated me for AMT of the Year. I didn't actually realize that it was a national thing. I had no clue what it was about. And I got a call many months later that I was the recipient of the regional award, and then later an even larger area award. And then I got a phone call from someone I'd never met before, Joanne Hill. And she told me that I was the National Honoree AMT of the Year, which totally took me by surprise. And I was sure that it was a prank phone call because I didn't know there was a national award. And I was trying to figure out what she was trying to sell me. And so she had to go through the process 3 times to explain what it was. So I'm not sometimes a little clueless, a little slow on the uptake. But their objective is to I'm on the board. So our objective is to recognize people in the industry that it's not just about that I was a good mechanic, which I hope that I am, but it's about giving back to the industry. So when someone like yourself, when you get the award, obviously, because of what you do with FAN and many other things as well, you're trying to promote the industry, you're helping others in the industry, you're mentoring people in the industry. And that's really what we're looking for. People that not only do their job well, but want to encourage others to do the job well. And we figure that if we highlight those people with a national award and regional awards, others will see that and say, this is what it should look like. This is what being a part of this community should look like.
I mean, that's really good as far as, because many people aren't even aware of the bigger picture and how it can be used to promote their own business or something to aspire to.
Sure. It does promote. It did promote when I was honored with the award back in 2007. I never really thought about that. It never occurred to me that this would be something of benefit to the business. And people began to call and say, oh, I saw you won this award. And, so it was kind of a surprise to me. But, that's not why we received the award. I didn't even know it existed, so it wasn't something that I was seeking out. But it is something that happens, which is another good thing, because other people in my situation, my peers, see that and realize, okay, there's more to this than just my little circle of people that know me. I can get involved in something much bigger, that's really awesome to realize.
Yeah, no, the aspirational goal for me. That's a good thing. That's why we're doing this, to promote it. So let me say, how is the award competition structured? What can you tell me about that?
Well, it starts with, obviously someone has to nominate you. In my case, it was the Nadine Yeager, who's the fast team leader at the FAA at the Memphis FSDO. It doesn't have to be an FAA person, but it frequently is. So anyone can nominate, and then a package of information is put together and sent to the General Aviation Awards. There are different levels in terms of where you are geographically. So it might just be the local FSDO area, and then grows to a regional area, and eventually to the national stage. Those packages, which can be pretty huge, 50, 100 pages, that sort of thing, ends up going to a board of judges who are also peers with all of us. And they spend a lot of time, because they end up with a lot of applications, and it's really tough sometimes to choose when you've got a lot of people of really high caliber. So they go through and decide who it is, and then we get the information, and it comes out in a press release from GAA, and we also post it on the website.
Okay. Yeah, Mike has mentioned some of that as well. Who runs the...
Right. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, Mike. Mike, of course, is he's the detail guy. So Mike would have given you definitely all the very details, and this is how it works.
Trying to, give you a chance to fill in. So anyway, who runs the awards?
Well, it's another group of peers as well. We have a board. Some are past honorees, like myself and Mike and Arlen McMahon, and some other people that get involved that may be just coming up in aviation. Our director, Sanya Narayansamy, I can never pronounce her name right. It doesn't have the right number of vowels and consonants in it. But she is, now that I've totally butchered her name, I'm sorry, Sanya. She is just a wonderful leader for us, and we were needing someone that had a lot of energy. And she came to us as a student pilot, believe it or not, and just had a wonderful interest in the program. Came to Oshkosh last year, and last 2 years, and just took to it. It's just amazing. And she is really the driving force behind us right now. Of course, she has a lot of support, but it's that level of excitement that's really kind of spreading everywhere.
Well, that's good. In fact, I talked to her, did an interview with her, gosh, I think it was August now, but very upbeat, very enthusiastic, and readily admitted, John, I just got into this. I just fell into it. And oh my gosh, the stars lined up, and look at where I am now. So
yeah. Oh yeah. And she deserves it. We've had Arlen was our director for a while, and she did some really important things getting us organized, much better than we ever were before. A lot of steps had to happen to get where we are now. And it's just the energy level in the last year or so, probably 2 years, has just been really good. Even through COVID, we really thought this was going to be a problem. And it hasn't been as good as we'd like. Obviously, not being able to go to Airventure is huge, because that's kind of where everything culminates. But it's been amazingly good. We've been able to do a little bit of regrouping as well, and made a lot of new contacts and people getting involved in the process. So it's been very good.
sure,
It is a shop. We have things to do,
I get it. I've been in a go out. We could use your help.
Yeah.
Sonia sent me her email with everything, and oh boy,
Yeah.
it's like, well, maybe. It sounds like, as you explain it, there's a lot of good things have happened, and organizations. Ironically, the timing is really bad with the COVID, but it's on an upward track. Things are improving and coming together. So
it definitely is, and it's a combination. Of course, it's not just the board and the judges and all that, but the FAA is on board. We have a new administrator, and that's presenting some challenges only in that it's a new administrator, as anytime that changes over. But the industry is really stepping up. We depend on them for their financial backing, and as well as past honorees and just individuals that make donations, which can be done on the website. But the corporate sponsors and donations are just huge, and they're all shown on the website. So if people want to see who's participating, and thanks in large part to Sandhya, we have added quite a few new sponsors, as well as reconnected with some old ones. So it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I've been hearing from people. So let's see, did I ask you who runs the awards?
Well, it's Sandhya, and then there's Arlene, who's a past honoree as well. She is, and I'm looking at the screen here because I tend to get things wrong if I go by memory. But she's the nominations administrator. She's the one that organizes all the judging, and that's a huge job. She was our director for a while and really got things organized. But what she really wanted to do was deal with the judging. So she moved off to do that. And it's really helped a lot. She totally focuses on that, does a spectacular job. Pam Shriver is our treasurer. She's out in California. We're just kind of all over the country. And of course, Mike you spoke to, he's our PR guy. I'm the, Loretta Godby is, gosh, how do I describe her? She kind of does everything, but she helps a lot with donations and finding donors, that sort of thing. She knows everybody, just kind of amazing person. I'm kind of the low person on the totem pole. I would say maybe the least important in that sense. I'm the point of contact person. So when the honorees go to Airventure, I do all the arrangements for that. I find their place to stay, transportation. And when they're there, I am the one. Now, this may not be the most important job, but I guarantee you, it's the best job. It really is. Because they're all at Airventure. They're excited to be there, and I know how they feel because I was excited when I was there. I get to make sure that they all show up at the right place at the right time, that they meet the administrator, that they're, did I say get them there at the right place at the right time? It's herding cats. It's a thing. Of course, families are involved as well, so we get those. And one of the cool things is that on Thursday, when we do have Airventure, EAA, who's one of our wonderful sponsors as well, lets us use one of their carts for moving people around. As you know, if you have a 6-place cart that you can drive around at Airventure, you are a rock star. Nobody has a clue who I am, but I'm driving a cart. So there you go. But it is wonderful. We get to meet all kinds of very special people. They're excited. We have a luncheon. Right. We provide them with gifts. They get to meet sponsors. And it's just a whole lots of fun. So I get to basically enjoy the excitement of honorees being honored every year.
Sounds great. And
it is. It's a lot of fun.
How many times have I been there? And gee, so-and-so's on a golf cart. I wonder how they did that because I probably walk 20 miles a day.
That's right. Well, I only get that cart for one day, so you know.
No, it's always been fun being there. I missed it last year, of course. So
right.
Interesting to hear your side of it there. Anyway, how did you get involved, Paul?
Well, as a past honoree, you end up being on a list,
right.
And Sandy and Joanne Hill, who used to run GA awards, pretty much, well, you can't say single-handedly because there were two of them, but they pretty much did everything. Asked me if I would help out as a volunteer, which I did. So I've been treasurer and a few other things. And it just kind of evolved into being the point of contact because I'm there every year anyway. I do other things at Oshkosh, presentations and such. So since I'm already there, I just add a couple of days and stay and take care of the honorees.
It sounds good. It makes perfect sense. I can see myself getting a little bit more involved after listening to all this stuff. So, on a manageable level, but it's possible. So
there are a lot of things to do. Should anyone want to help out, volunteers are welcome. Of course, financial help is always welcome. But there's a lot of things. We always can use more judges, more people to help. I could use help at Airventure. If you want to get in on the fun and excitement at Airventure, just show up. The pay's great. It's $0. You don't even get a t-shirt, but the pay is great because I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun.
Well, the best thing about Airventure with Florida Aviation Network, just a little sidebar briefly, is that now I get the press credentials and I get in for that's that I get to go behind the lines. So being in the press, I get access to things others don't. So that's been a lot of
the parking pass.
Yes,
press credentials are all about the parking pass.
Exactly. When I started, this is awesome. So anyway, and let me see. Did I ask you so we've talked about your role, Airventure, and there is so much at Airventure that's behind the scenes. So much. I can imagine. I'm just seeing a little bit of it. Let's see. To touch on fundraising and raising money, which you touched on a little bit.
Yeah, that's a big part of it because one of the things we want the honorees to do is to be available at Airventure for the presentation of their awards, which is done, last year was done by the administrator again. It was done by the administrator when I was honored. And that's a really special event. And we're hoping that that'll happen again next year. We were trying to come up with a virtual way to do that this year, but between COVID and the change of the administrators, it's just not worked out. But it costs money to get the honorees there. It costs money to house them while they're there, and moving them around, rental cars, all those kind of things. So it is very expensive. And but boy, what a wonderful thing to be able to do for these people that are these honorees. It really is spectacular. And they get gifts and all that kind of things. A lot of the industries will give in-kind gifts and that sort of thing. And those are wonderful. And everyone appreciates them. Being at Airventure and having that recognition in person is just kind of the top. It really is.
I would agree. And what's been interesting to me is some of the honorees that had not previously been to Airventure for one reason or another, and the fact that they suddenly attend and they are just overwhelmed. I mean, you can't, there's simply so much there. I tell people, colleagues that, that haven't been there, I say, this is like Disneyland to the max. There's really no way to describe it. So much going on there, but I know for a few of them that hadn't been there before, just overwhelmed. There's simply so much. So
yeah, I've been going every year except last year for the past, I think it's 18 years now, something like that. And so I get a little bit, when I show up, everything's familiar.
Right.
So it's a little bit like, oh, I know what's going on. It still is kind of awe-striking to see how huge it is. And then by Wednesday, when the honorees show up, that excitement, if you will, just kind of rekindles because their excitement just bleeds over to everybody that's around them. And then I get all revitalized again. It's pretty interesting.
Exactly. Okay. And let's see, how can I find out more about this?
The best way is to go to the website, generalaviationawards.com. And it's everything is there, tells all about it, how you can donate, how you can participate, who the recipients have been. This year's honorees with their bios are there. So pretty much everything you need to know is right on the website.
Okay. And then obviously you guys are tied in, as Mike was explaining, with the press releases that come through the various newsletters, EAA, AOPA, General Aviation News, all that stuff. So
Right.
gets the word out there as well. Okay.
We've got a few, for instance, we'll have links to mine and Mike's interview with you today, which is really nice. We'll have others. We've done some webinars, things with the FAA that are on the site as well, or links to them are on the site. So there's a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah. I think one thing that I really appreciate about this awards program is it's spotlighting some of the really the basic, the nuts and bolts of all of aviation as far as the instructors, the maintenance, and the reps, at the very basic levels, what it takes to keep the airplanes airworthy and to teach the next generation of pilots and stuff, because we all started somewhere in a well-maintained,
Right.
and recognizing that encourages hopefully more people to get involved in this and just, where it can go with the importance of it all. So.
Yeah, another part of it for the honorees, the ones that are chosen, I think it's kind of worth noting that you think, well, people that get picked out are going to be ones that are part of some large company or something like that. And that is just not the case with us. We have some that have been from very large companies. We have some from the corporate world, some from little shops like mine. And then every now and then there's someone that I've never heard of because I don't work in their realm, but they are the top of the industry in their corner of the world, and it's you just find these really incredibly special people that are saying this is what can happen here, and they start from whatever their beginnings are, from all sorts of different places. Maybe not someone that was brought up in it like I was, but came to it late in life. And they still get really involved, get excited about it, and realize that this industry is a very unique bond of people.
Right, and just as you say, the diversity, they come from large and small. In fact, I was recently surprised when the winner was the woman, I believe she's a college professor in Tennessee, who's also a very active flight instructor. Her name escapes me, but
Yeah, Catherine.
That's right.
Yeah, Catherine. She was also honored 2 years ago. So she was a fast team 2 years ago. This time she's the flight instructor. I call her the spin doctor. I don't know if that's she does a lot of work spin training, and she has actually her little 152 Aerobat is here at my shop right now. We're doing some work on it, and she does a presentation for the AOPA and some others, and she talks about spins. And in this Aerobat, she goes into a spin at, I forget, it's something above 10,000 feet. And she stays into the spin till something like 3,500 feet. And I get dizzy just watching it on the video. But she's pretty amazing in all that. But that's as special as that is. That's kind of typical for the people that we're finding. It's just, you don't think about that there's people out there doing that sort of thing.
I was struck by just the uniqueness of her little niche, where she is, and look at what she's done. And she's, outstanding in her field. And it reminded me actually of Bill Kirshner, the spin doctor from Kewanee, Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she worked with Bill. Oh yeah. They worked very closely together for quite some time.
There you go. Yeah. I've still got Bill's manual somewhere. So
right.
So interesting the way it all comes together. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Paul?
We love participation. We would love to have more people working with us, getting involved, seeing how important that this is, not only to recognize excellence, but to promote it. And we think this is a great way to promote it because our industry is small, but it's important and we need more people in it. And we just want people to see that this is a great industry to be in. You can know people all over the country and feel like you've been around them all your life because they do the same thing that you do. And it's very unique.
Well, I would agree completely. So it's encouraging me to maybe check out carefully,
Yes. Be careful. If you volunteer, we'll accept you.
let's take this. Don't have to interview. So anyway, but
You're on the hook now, John. You can't say no.
well, I do a lot of volunteering on other aviation stuff. So I just, we'll have to see what might work. So anyway, thank you for
Right.
Sandy's going to listen to this and go, oh my gosh. So anyway.
No, what she's going to say is, I can't believe he can't pronounce my last name properly. That's what I'm going to hear.
We won't even attempt. So mine's easy. It's Irish and everyone butchers it. So
mine's easy, but nobody can ever spell it. It's just.
Well, Paul, it's been a pleasure for going over this with you, the interview, and getting your insights. And now I know more about what you do back there at Airventure. So the next time around, maybe I'll be able to connect and help out in some other capacity. Although OB keeps me kind of busy, but we'll see. So
yeah,
look forward to that. So thank you for your time and helping to promote this. And so we'll wrap it up here. This is John Mahany for Managing Safety for the Aviation Network in Long Beach. And thank you, Paul. And
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the time. It is my pleasure.